Hey, this is Krive, and I'm here to talk to you about the changes that are coming with the alpha for Preservation Evoker. I think we all saw the insane revamp of how Preservation Evoker plays. We have our Spirit Bloom taken away. We don't have Emerald Communion anymore. Life Bind is gutted, and we're all asking ourselves, how is Preservation Evoker playing now? And I want to discuss this in this video, and to structure the video, I'm first going to go over the changes, what's new, what's going away. We're going to talk about the base tree, we're going to talk about the spec tree, the hero tree, how we now play in trash and boss fight, and at the end also how are we going to do damage. And to start off, let's talk about the class tree. We saw some small changes here for the alpha. Unravel has been redesigned. So now it's just baked into Fire Breath. When we pick the talent, Fire Breath is going to consume Absorb Shields and do a little bit of damage. So that's quite nice. Azo Strike damage has been increased by 50%. We will have to see if it's worth pressing Azo Strike now. Like right now, I went to the target dummies in game. I did some testing. And when you're playing Chrono Warden, obviously your Chrono Flame does extra damage. It's still not worth pressing Azo Strike, even if you pick up this talent. It looks like that just spamming Living Flame is still stronger, but that's also taken into account that you play Life Force Mender and that you're playing Chrono Warden, which both make your Living Flame a lot stronger. But now, with a new situation, because what I'm going to tell you shortly is that we're not going to play Life Force Mender anymore, and we're not going to play Chrono Warden anymore. So there is maybe a point in actually playing Protected Talents and pressing Azo Strike for maximum AoE damage. So we'll have to see. And then the third change that we're seeing is Sleeping Flames. They have a different icon, not a big change. Not a big change. But yeah, now for the new talent tree on the left, like the small changes that we do might be that we go into Protected Talents now. Maybe we even drop Repressing Roar. We'll have to see if it's actually like you press it sometimes, but not that often. So a new talent tree could look like this. And then situationally, you might pick Protected Talents up and drop Scarlet Adaption, or you drop Repressing Roar. So that's the only changes to the spec tree. But now let's look at the class tree. Let's look at the spec tree. So here we have lots of new information. They want to change the gameplay. They think we have too much power in our cooldowns. We need to juggle and rotate a lot of cooldowns. For me, that's always been the fun of Preservation Evoker, just like having good spacing between my cooldowns, juggling my cooldowns in the right way, and also using intelligent Lifebind combos. But they don't like us doing that. They're going to take away some of our cooldowns. Emerald Communion is gone, and Lifebind only affects one target now. So the main target that you Verdant Embrace, that's gonna get the Lifebind. But if you echo the whole party and then press like Verdant Embrace on one target and you're expecting the whole party to get Lifebind, that's not gonna happen anymore. They will still get the healing from Verdant Embrace, but they won't get the Lifebind. Only your actual target that got hit by the initial Verdant Embrace will get the Lifebind. To compensate, they're gonna buff Lifebind. Lifebind now transfers 60% of the healing. It was 40% before. But yeah, can no longer be echoed. And then what they also did is they removed Spirit Bloom, completely crazy, but they're simplifying everything. They removed Emerald Communion and Cycle of Life. I think we didn't care about Cycle of Life in PvE anyway. But yeah, those are gone. And then we have other new changes. We have a new Apex talent, Aretha's Blessing. Looks very interesting. Essence abilities have a chance to infuse our next reversion with the power of the green Dragonflight, upgrading it to Maritha's Blessing. That's a mouthful. And what it does is that it springs a Bloom of Life from your target, healing them and up to 5 other allies within 30 yards. And if there's no injured ally present, it heals the same target multiple times. So it's actually a smart heal kinda in this way, which is interesting because right now, if we think about it, our tank healing is often what's being complained about. At least I got the feedback from multiple tanks that they're saying, when I'm playing with a Rested Druid, when I'm playing with a Discipline Priest, I get so much more healing. But we don't have that much healing that we can give our tank. We have our, like, not trickle healing at least. We have our Life Giver's Flame. We have our double reversion, but reversion's healing is not that strong. Our Life Giver's Flame healing is also not that strong because it's like smart healing. So if a group member drops low, then it's gonna heal them first and then the tank. And then we have like Dream Breath, but again, the hot from Dream Breath is not that strong. So usually the way we heal the tank is by letting the tank drop, and then we use like Echo Reversion to top them again. But that requires the tank to drop in the first place. But what we're gonna see here is that our tanking will get much better. First of all, from Maritha's Blessing, but also from other effects like our talent choices. And I'm gonna talk about that in a bit. But let's first look at the other talents. Here again, we can put points into this Maritha's Blessing tree, and you can see that here. I have the Evoker tree open here, and there's 3 new talents, and we could put 4 new points into that. And Maritha's Blessing, if you put 2 points into this talent here, it's gonna reverse 4% of the damage taken and then healing the target instead. So that's obviously great for the whole group. Whoever gets that Maritha's Blessing is gonna be a very safe party member, but it's also insane for the tank because that's gonna help the tank so much staying alive. Then, if we put more points into it, at some point we are gonna unlock that Dream Breath's instant healing is increased by 125%, and Dream Breath has a 100% chance to grant Maritha's Blessing. So whenever we're gonna do a Dream Breath, it's gonna put Maritha's Blessing on the whole party, which is insanely strong because it's just gonna heal back some of the damage, and it's gonna be like some kind of smart heal, healing the same person multiple times, or the whole party. So that's basically putting a lot of power into our Dream Breath. But that's a theme of our class in general. You saw Spirit Bloom is gone. The new theme of our class of Preservation Evoker is that all the power, literally, like all the power is now Dream Breath now, and then popping the Dream Breath with Verdant Embrace or our Spirit Blossom. I'm gonna talk about that in a bit. But let's go over the changes first. There's a couple new talents. We have a new talent choice node. It's down here at the bottom. We can choose between 2 talents that buff or change our Verdant Embrace. One just buffs it by 40%, and now you send forth a clone, not you anymore. Like the clone flies forward and heals the other person, so you don't have to be afraid of getting hit by some kind of ground target anymore and dying in this way. The other choice sounds much more interesting though, and that's Wings of Liberty. And that makes Verdant Embrace be able to be used 2 extra times within, I think, 5 seconds. Here in this preview, it reads 3 seconds, but if we read the notes here, I think it says 5 seconds here. So that's the official Blizzard notes as far as I'm concerned. So I'm assuming you have like the chance to use it 2 extra times within 5 seconds. And that looks very interesting because we have some interactions that I'm going to talk about in a bit. Then we have a new talent here, Twin Echoes. Casting Emerald Blossom causes your next echo to be cast on an additional ally within 25 yards at 100% effectiveness. This doesn't look that interesting. Looks like a talent that's maybe played in the raid, but in M+. I think we're going to go away from Echo. Like we used Echo the last 2 expansions, but this new expansion, I feel like we're going away a bit from using Echo and only using it in niche situations. It's not going to be like some spell that we have in our base rotation anymore. Instead, we're going to use Spirit Blossom a lot more. At least with the current balancing and from what I'm seeing so far. Another new talent that we get, which is buffing our stasis and Dreamflight. And it's going to increase our healing over time when we press the spell. So I'm assuming it's the initial press. So when we first press stasis, and then for 15 seconds, our hot healing is increased by 60%. So that's obviously gonna buff our Dream Breath and then also our Consume Flames. So that's gonna make our stasis window extremely strong. Whenever we press stasis, we're gonna be insanely strong if we talent into that. And I'm not sure if we're gonna do that because I feel like we're kind of overloading our stasis in this way. Because then we're gonna be extremely strong in our stasis window, but we have a lot less healing power outside of our stasis window. So that will kind of depend on the boss design. If we have like bosses that do a lot of damage in like a 1.5 minute cadence, then surely that's great. But I'm kind of afraid that we will have issues if we play a lot into stasis, that we have not enough power outside of stasis. Because after they removed Emerald Communion, the only spell that we're left with outside of stasis is Rewind and Zephyr. And Tip the Scales, but in my opinion, I think Tip the Scales lost a lot of its value now that Spirit Bloom is gone. And now that you don't play Chrono Warden anymore, I feel like Tip the Scales is not really that powerful anymore. It's not a cooldown that can carry a mechanic on its own anymore. So I feel like the only cooldown we're left with is Rewind. So I'm kind of afraid that we're going to be too powerful in stasis. And then outside of stasis, we kind of only have our Zephyr and our Rewind. And both of them are long cooldown. So I'm personally, at first, not going to play into this talent. I think I want to put power into my general kit to just make me as strong as possible in general. And then I just have a spike when I press stasis. I'm just like a bit stronger, but I don't want to put too much emphasis on stasis for now. Anyway, still a nice talent. Could be played in the raid. Could be played for certain dungeon bosses where they have like some kind of increased healing requirement for a certain amount of time. And then this is going to be very strong. Then we have a redesign of our Emerald Blossom talent. It now causes every other Emerald Blossom to have a 100% chance for one of our Fluttering Seedlings to grow into a new Emerald Blossom. And I don't have access to Alpha, so I'm not sure how this works, but I'm assuming that, let's go over this talent tree here. I'm assuming that you press Emerald Blossom once, and then you get one charge of this kind of buff, and then the second one will automatically create a second one. And what I'm hoping for is that, like, you cast this, then it resets the charge to 0, right? So you have one charge, you press it again, you have 2 charges, and now the second Emerald Blossom gets recreated again through Field of Dreams. And this other one that gets recreated hopefully gives you 1 extra stack. And if it actually plays out in this way, if the second Emerald Blossom gives you an extra stack of this Field of Dreams mechanic, then you could basically spam Emerald Blossom and it would always create a second one. So every single Emerald Blossom would create another one. And if it works in this way, then we for sure would play into Emerald Blossom now. Not only because it heals a lot more and it's also being buffed, by the way. We see here Emerald Blossom ceiling is increased by 100%, so that's quite nice. But also because we have a new talent here in the Flame Shaper tree, which makes Emerald Blossom consume 2 seconds of our Dream Breath and detonating it, giving us AoE healing in this way. So I'm assuming that we're gonna play a lot more into Emerald Blossom, and the way it works is what I'm gonna explain. I'm saying it the 3rd time now, I think, but I'm gonna explain it in a second. Anyway, let's go over the rest of the talents. Empath has been redesigned, now functions with Autumn Power spells. I don't think this is a good talent still. What Empath was before was that it just worked with Spirit Bloom and it would just increase our essence regeneration rate by 100%. It was never played, at least in a plus. And now it just works with all spells, but I think we still don't care. We instead would pick Spiritual Clarity and that is decreasing the cooldown of our Dream Breath by 10 seconds. That seems way more valuable to me. Then we have like Verdant Embrace hitting increased, so that's nice, compensating a bit for the lack of Spirit Bloom. I think Verdant Embrace will kind of replace our Spirit Bloom healing now. Like whenever we would press Spirit Bloom before, we might press Verdant Embrace now. And then Emerald Blossom is kind of replacing the point of like Verdant Embrace before. So we're kind of shifting the balance there. And they're being buffed, so that's nice. Then the Dream Breath cone size has been increased. I don't think this really matters, but I guess it's some kind of quality of life. Then we have some other quality of life where Dream Flight now absorbs damage you take while you are in flight, so you don't kill yourself when you're flying through like a boss mechanic or some kind of mob pack. And then its healing is also been increased, so I think it will be quite valuable in M+. It seems like it's a really strong spell now. I still won't play it, I think, unless it's like the clear choice, because I like having skill expression, and stasis still seems like a mechanic that's so unique and so interesting to and like specific to Evoker that I want to keep playing stasis unless it's like completely undertuned. One other choice that we're seeing is Titan's Gift. Now, actually got buffed by another 10%. Before it was 25%. When you get Essence Burst, your next Essence ability now does 35% more healing, or is more effective, more damage as well if you disintegrate. And now that you saw that we're playing more into Spirit Blossom, I feel like we're gonna play into Titan's Gift, because it's gonna buff our Spirit Blossom by a lot more. And then the other changes are what we talked about. Some positions have changed and they removed some stuff. So now let's talk about the hero talent trees. We see Chrono Warden got changed and Flame Shaper got changed. The thing with Chrono Warden is that it's a lot worse now. The strength of Chrono Warden mostly came from After Image. If you look into my healing breakdown, if you look into any healing breakdown of my keys here, let's say Halls of Atonement plus 18 or whatever, then we're gonna see Living Flame is at the top. And Living Flame's at the top not because I'm casting Living Flame so much onto my targets, it's at the top because After Image is sending out 3 Chrono Flames every time we press Spirit Bloom, we press our Fire Breath or our Dream Breath. And now that they removed one of our Empower spells, we have a lot less chances to get After Images, right? We only have it from half them from Fire Breath and from Dream Breath. So this talent loses a lot of value. Another problem that we have is that before Spirit Bloom was really strong together with Reverberations that increased the Spirit Bloom healing by 30%. And obviously Spirit Bloom was buffed by a lot by our Tempo Charge. It was buffed by Unshakable. And this kinda made Reverberations really strong. So we just had a very strong Spirit Bloom. But now that this doesn't work with Spirit Bloom anymore and it works with Verdant Embrace instead now. Verdant Embrace is not really a spell that we amplify by a lot. Like there's no talents that amplify Verdant Embrace healing. Instead except for this new talent here at the bottom that we have now, if we look at the tree, which is Dream Simulacrum, which would increase Verdant Embrace healing by 40%. But I still believe that we will play into Wings of Liberty instead. But yeah, basically Chrono Warden loses a lot of value because of that, because we don't have Spirit Bloom anymore, and we don't have the extra healing from After Image anymore. And now with this being gone, it feels like this tree is very gutted, kinda. Doesn't look strong anymore. There are some new talents like that Tip the Scales cooldown is reduced by 30 seconds, and Temple Burst grants Essence Burst every 6 seconds, so we get a lot more Essence Bursts. And our Chrono Flame does more damage and healing, but this looks like a talent tree now where we spam Living Flame, and that doesn't look like something I want to do in a plus. It also doesn't look as strong. Flame Shaper looks like much stronger, because Flame Shaper always has been more, like has been playing around Dream Breath, focused on Dream Breath. And now that Spirit Bloom is gone and Dream Breath is our main healing spell now, it just feels like it makes sense. It feels natural to play more into Flame Shaper, which buffs our Dream Breath, buffs our strongest healing spell that we have now, our only Empower spell that heals, actually. So it just makes sense to go Flame Shaper. I'm personally way more excited about Flame Shaper, and I think it will be the hero talent of choice, as of now at least, unless there's balancing coming. And I'm kind of happy, because we played Chrono Warden now for a whole expansion, so it's nice that we play something else in the next expansion. And there's lots of interesting mechanics with Flame Shaper, especially the new ones. They look really exciting. One of them is that we get Essence Well. Whenever we Fire Breath or Dream Breath, there's a 50% chance to get Essence Burst. And as you remember, our new gameplay might revolve around rocking the Field of Dreams, like using Emerald Blossom to proc our Consume Flame from our Dream Breath. So basically we want to have a very strong Dream Breath. We want to buff our Dream Breath the most possible, have a really strong Dream Breath, and then we want to consume that Dream Breath with Emerald Blossom. Because Verdant Embrace, if you look here, Verdant Embrace only consumes 4 seconds from one ally and only heals that one ally for 200% of the amount consumed, while Emerald Blossom is an AoE. It consumes Dream Breath from multiple allies, so it's actually an AoE heal. So when we heal a boss mechanic now, when we heal a trash mechanic where lots of AoE is happening, we don't want to word and embrace one person and then the next person and then the next person. We want to instead use some kind of AoE mechanic to consume the Dream Breath, just like we did before with Engulf. Engulf consumed Dream Breath, or like at least detonated the Dream Breath AoE, and we want to still do the same. We want to have AoE healing, and the way we're getting that is with Emerald Blossom. So we want to play into Emerald Blossom and Field of Dreams, and the best way to do that is with buffing the Emerald Blossom with Titan's Gift and getting lots of Essence Burst procs, and we get that by doing Fire Breaths and Dream Breaths. And then there's one extra mechanic that's quite nice for damage and healing, which is Twin Flame. Every time we consume Essence Burst, we fire out a Twin Flame, which heals our target for a small amount, and it does damage if we use Disintegrate, like if we consume our Essence Burst proc with Disintegrate. And then it also does that to 2 additional targets. So now you can imagine with Dream Breath on the party, some kind of boss mechanic is happening with Dream Breath rolling on the party, and we're pressing our Emerald Blossom. We have an Essence Burst proc because we just got one from using our Dream Breath, and then we send out an Emerald Blossom, and it procs again. So another one flies out, and it consumes the Dream Breath, healing for boatloads of healing because it's just like proccing the Dream Breath. On top, fluttering seedlings are flying out, smart healing people in some kind of way. And on top of the seedlings healing people that are injured, we also have Twin Flames going out. Because every time we consume an Essence Burst proc with our Emerald Blossom, we have 2, or actually 3 Twin Flames going out and healing people for small amounts. So we have like a completely different healing profile to before. Like right now, our healing profile is very bursty. The group drops quite low, and then we burst them back to the top. And it seems like the new healing profile that we have is more based on kind of trickle healing, hot healing, small bursts of healing by consuming the Dream Breath, but also then these smart heals, these Twin Flames flying around, these fluttering seedlings, smart healing people, and then obviously the Maritha's Blessing, which is also like kind of in a smart way, healing people. If no one is injured, it heals the same person multiple times. So that looks quite interesting. Other than that, we have Enkindle, which is nice, I think, or Expanded Lungs. I think we're going to play whatever is better for our HPS and damage. But both look interesting. Right now, I think we're probably going to play into Expanded Lungs, because that looks a bit stronger. Buffing our Dream Breath and our Fire Breath by 30%. And then again, here their damage and healing is being dealt 20% more often. And then we can give Renewing Blast to one other party member. And one thing you notice here maybe is that our Dream Breath gets buffed by so many new talents. Here we have Dream Breath being buffed by 30%. Here it heals, it does its healing 20% more often. Then we have that it crits more on targets above 15%. We have new talent. We have like talents like we're buffing it here by Tempo Charge by 20%. We're buffing it with Call of Viscera. We're buffing it with Renewing Breath. So here the healing is increased by 30%. Then we're buffing it again with Maritha's Blessing, where the initial healing is buffed by 125%. Obviously, we're still buffing it with Grace Period, increasing the healing by 10%. Like, Dream Breath will have like so many modifiers on it that it's, I think like all the modifiers that were like only on Spirit Bloom before are now shifted towards Dream Breath, and I feel like the spell is just getting buffed by 7 talents or something. It's completely insane. But yeah, that you see a pattern there. Like, our Dream Breath will be insanely strong, and then we want to detonate that Dream Breath for single target healing with Burden Embrace, or for AoE healing with Emerald Blossom. Anyway, let's go over the third row. Fire Breath's cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. Fire Breath and Dream Breath reach their Empower level 20% faster. That's quite nice. But I feel like we will be fine there anyway. Like, it's not like we had problems before casting our Empower spells. And then Fire Breaths and Dream Breaths dot or hot just last a bit longer with this new talent here. So that's how our class talent and hero talent and spec and base tree work now. And let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. I kind of replicated a tree that I think will work. Ignore the actual talents here. I just copied basically like a setup where I think That's how we're gonna play. And so you just have to imagine that these are the new talents. Same here and so on. These are all the new talents. I just spent the points to see how it would look like. And from what I'm getting, we're still playing into Temporal Anomaly and still playing into Grace Period. We still, like, Grace Period is, I think, is here now. And we still want to use Temporal Anomaly, and we still want to put up reversions on the party to get the 10 or 20% more healing from Grace Period. I think we still want to pick up Tempo Charge, because that talent is buffing our Dream Breath, and as you saw, we play a lot around Dream Breath. So that's still something we're going to do. But I think Echo will lose a lot of its value. I don't think we want to press Echo that much often anymore. So we're not playing into a Time Lord anymore. We also won't pick up Font of Magic. It increases our Empower Spells maximum level by 1, and that was really interesting for Spirit Bloom, right? Because Spirit Bloom heals 1 more party member if we can empower it to 4. But now that Spirit Bloom is gone, we really don't care if our Dream Breath is like max rank 3 or 4. Same with Fire Breath. Yeah, if we can charge Fire Breath up to 4, obviously that's nice, but that's not changing the ability in a fundamental way. Like, we don't really care about that. So we can really drop that point. Then on the left here, just imagine here the new talents. Like, one talent was that, let's see, I think one here is that Empower Spells are 10% more effective. That's just change position. And the other one is Dream Breath's cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. Obviously, we want to pick that up, and we also want to pick up Call of Ysera. And then we have these Fluttering Seedlings talents and the Field of Dream talent. Since we're playing into this now, we want to pick this up. And then here at the bottom, in the middle, we have like Stasis now. We want to pick up Stasis for sure. We still want Life Giver's Flame, and Life Giver's Flame is so much stronger now. If you think about it, since we're playing Flame Shaper and we're playing into these new talents, Fire Breath will do so much more healing, since we have now this talent here, which makes Fire Breath's damage over time be 30% more effective. It's also dealing its damage in 20% less time, and it lasts longer. So Fire Breath will just be a lot stronger and will be a lot more valuable for tank healing, for smart group healing. So we still want to play into Life Giver's Flame for sure. Then, obviously, we want to buff our Dream Breath, since we're like only playing around Dream Breath now. And we want to pick up this new talent that buffs our Verdant Embrace, which just makes our Verdant Embrace be used 3 extra times within 5 seconds. Wings of Liberty, which I showed you before. And then here at the bottom, we have Titan's Gift, which increases the effectiveness of our next Essence ability after we got Essence Burst. So that's what I picked up here. And basically, we're playing around Dream Breath, we're playing around our Emerald Blossoms, and we're playing around getting lots of Essence Burst, because Essence Burst get buffed by Titan's Gift. And then we want to use those Titan's Gifts on lots of Emerald Blossom casts. And those Emerald Blossom casts are being used to, first of all, heal the group by themselves, and also send out Fluttering Seedlings, but also because every time we use an Essence Burst and our Emerald Blossom is being buffed by Titan's Gift, we're not only sending out the Seedlings, we're also sending out 2, or actually 3 Twin Guardian extra heals. So lots of small, smart heals, or like some trickle healing on the group that will be very strong. And the way I imagine the gameplay is that you still, before you go into a pool, you still send out Temporal Anomaly. You're gonna like still use reversions, but once you're in the pool, you're gonna send Dream Breath. You're gonna have your Fire Breath on the enemies rolling, and then whenever someone drops, you can use your Verdant Embrace to top that one person instantly by detonating the Dream Breath with Consume Flame. So let's say you're playing the first pool in Echo Dome or in any dungeon, when one person drops because they get some kind of like cast on them, cast goes through, hits them, they're dropping to 40%. You're just using one Verdant Embrace. You're flying to them, you're healing them a lot by the Verdant Embrace. With the Verdant Embrace, you're detonating your Dream Breath, which is kind of insta-topping them. And then when another person drops, you still have like 2 more Verdant Embraces that you can use on them, because that's how this new talent works now. You can use Verdant Embrace another 2 extra times within 5 seconds. And you're gonna detonate more Dream Breaths this way. And then if you need extra healing outside of that, you're just gonna send out your Essence Burst procs on Emerald Blossoms on the party. And then refresh your reversions, refresh your Dream Breath. But I don't think you play that much around your Living Flame anymore. And obviously Spirit Bloom is gone, so your base gameplay will revolve a lot more around like detonating Dream Breath. That's like the whole base gameplay now. You just detonate Dream Breath with Verdant Embrace, and if you don't have Verdant Embrace because it's on cooldown, you're just gonna use Emerald Blossom instead now. And otherwise, you're just maybe gonna do a Living Flame, or like refresh your versions. But that seems to be like the base gameplay loop now. And then on bosses, it's gonna be the same. Like a big damage ability happens. You're gonna Dream Breath, you hopefully store it up 2 Essence Burst procs, and then you're gonna send your Essence Burst procs, you're just gonna spam your Spirit Bloom on the ground and proc as many Field of Dream procs as you can, and those will detonate your Consume Flame, and that's just gonna do a lot of healing in a short amount of time when the boss does this AoE. I feel like lots of skill is being taken away in this way, like skill expression. I feel like Preservation Evoker this way just becomes like any other healer. So there's no more cool combos you can do. Maybe there's some stasis combos still. Maybe there's some small little expressions of skill that you can do with like still some kind of lifebind combos where you lifebind yourself to like 2 people or maybe even 3 people with the new talent where you can like Verdant Embrace 3 times. But all these like cool combos that we can do right now with lifebind and Renewing Blaze or Lifebind Health Pod or anything like that seems to be gone. I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful about Press Evoker. I think this looks fun, honestly. Like I feel like I'm excited for this gameplay. I feel like it looks something I could enjoy, but it's completely different to what we have right now. It feels like it's almost a completely different healer, and we just have to see how it plays out. I hope I get the alpha access or beta access soon, and then I can actually put into practice what I theory crafted here. But until then, I hope this gave you some interesting insight into how Press Evoker might play in the new expansion. And please comment, please share your thoughts. If you have own ideas for any cool interactions that I might have missed, then please also put them in the comments or on my Discord, and I'm happy to discuss the changes with you guys. Anyway, bye for now, and have a good one.